Greetings, R. Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Christian News and Views. This is episode 14, or rather, I'm sorry, 147. Can't read my own writing here. So, this is Tuesday, and the Supreme Court has made a ruling, which is kind of surprising. But certainly, I think it must be welcomed by the administration. Here is the article. The Supreme Court on Monday said it will let the Trump administration and the temporary or end the temporary protected status program protecting roughly 350,000 Venezuelans, migrants, from the threat of deportation while legal proceedings over the move continue. The High Court granted the administration's request to lift for now a lower court's injunction that blocked Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's revocation of the Temporary Protected Status Program, or TPS, for Venezuelans. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said she would deny the administration's bid for emergency relief. So this is coming on the heels of the past weekend, which there were like three different things I covered that didn't go well for the administration. But I pointed it out, I believe I pointed out at the time that these were not final. These were temporary decisions that could go either way. Well, now it seems to be that the Supreme Court has backed off that a little bit and says, here's my opinion. After the weekend's bad news, this had to be welcome news. It means that those men and women who were to be deported could now be deported. The blocking had taken place in none other state but California. And so they're not, that's not a state known for protection of the Constitution, nor is the justice system out there known for protecting the Constitution. And so it's one of those things in which has to work its way through the court system. And the Supreme Court decided to lift that blockage, which means it literally gives the government the opportunity to continue to do what they were doing while the thing works its way through the court system. And if they end up losing, then it will be stopped. But if they end up winning, then it will just simply continue on. So it means that the illegal immigrants still have to obey the law, and that the administration still has the right and power to do so. That's very important when we understand that, because some people are saying, oh, no, Trump doesn't go with the Constitution. Here, the Supreme Court is not saying that at all. They're waiting. They want to see how the lower courts deal with this issue before they step in, because they want to have the facts, as many facts in front of them as possible. Makes sense. So it's really too early for me, or anybody else for that matter, to break this down much more than what it is. But I do believe that the Supreme Court is trying to find some kind of middle ground where basic human rights, not citizenship rights, are honored while the government is allowed to do its job of protecting America. I think it is not only a win, but a significant win. Now, I made the statement there, it's not citizenship rights. Well, I'm making a difference there. Not even sure that's a term. But I created it or used it because I think there is a difference. There are certain human rights that all people enjoy. Then there are citizenship rights that citizens of the United States enjoy. Now, the rights that the citizenship rights would include many, if not all, of the, no, let me restate that, would include many of the human rights, but not all of them. There's simply not citizens. And so citizen rights is actually much higher than human rights. Human rights, they come in and they I'm trying to say this and I think I'm doing it wrong. Let me reword this whole thing a little bit so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. When I say citizenship rights, these are the rights that people either born in the United States, legitimately born in the United States, or those who went through the process and became citizens, they have. These citizenship rights are higher than the human rights. Human rights are basic. We have the basic to eat. We have basic right to certain kinds of protections and availability of things. But citizenship rights are on a much higher value, and they need to be protected. They need to have that sort of like we talk about a wall of separation between a corporation and the people who run it. So we need a wall of separation between the general world populace, if you will, and United States citizens. As United States citizens, our rights are supreme. Our rights are I'm not sure if I can really say irrevocable, but they are such a high value that there's no real comparison, sort of like this. Citizenship rights here, human rights here. And so human rights are kind of basic and they need to be protected. The citizenship rights are far, far more important. And they're the ones who get to vote. Citizens, that's one of the rights of citizenship, the right to vote and do other things. And so that hopefully I've cleared that up a little bit. I don't want to confuse you on it because I think it's a significant win that has happened. And I think that while this whole thing, they would like to see it go away, there are some legitimate questions. I think I mentioned that over the weekend, but there are those are questions that only time and going through the court system can resolve. So, do you like this channel? I try to give you a fair and balanced opinion. I keep the facts separate from opinion so that there's no confusion. And I try to give you a conservative and Christian viewpoint. But you are free to disagree. And that's important to me, that you have that right. I differentiate myself from the news media. News media will give you a combination of facts and their opinion, and they mesh them together, and you're to take the whole thing as is, not me. Here's the facts, here's the opinion, and they're kept separate. And so you can't disagree with the facts over here, but you can disagree with my opinion. And so to do so, you simply go on, you can do so on the comment section. And I tell you, be civil, be respectful, no name calling or insinuations or of any nature are allowed. And if you come up with some legitimate disagreements or arguments, try to give me, I want to see some facts. I want to see why you believe that. And then I'll look at it and I may respond to it right then and there, or I might respond to it in a future podcast. So in the meantime, I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't, that you do. Again, you can do so right there, right about there. And subscribe to TR Independent Books channel, and that gives you access to this podcast. Well, you have a great day. I hope to see you in the next episode.